Hello, my name is Gene Xu. I am founder of EME China Consultants, and my job is to help you, as an American, better understand how to navigate the cultural complexities of doing business in China. And recently, there's been a lot of friction between our two countries with the trade war. And there's been an interesting thing that has happened is that Fox News' Trish Regan challenged one of the Chinese commentators on CGTN TV to a debate. Her name is Liu Xin. It wasn't really an actual debate, but it's something that was very interesting because it kind of illustrates the dynamic when people from America and China talk about very contentious issues. What are the biases? What prejudices do people have? What attitude and mindset do they go into when they have such an engagement? I think the debate itself disappointed a lot of people because it was very cordial. There was not a lot of fireworks. It wasn't very confrontational. But I want to do something a little bit different. And this is really as a learning experience to really understand how the Chinese think and what their attitude is to help us as Americans not misjudge them or have any negative biases or cultural biases that may impede our ability to work closely or more closely together. So what I'm going to do is, after the interview, Liu Xin obviously gave her thoughts to her audience because she's an anchor. And on CGTN, she gave her thoughts in English. And obviously that's because she's mainly speaking to an English-speaking audience, and she's trying to reach a lot of non-Chinese people on what's going on in China and how Chinese people think about global events and global affairs. The interesting thing that I want to do is I want to contrast what she says in English to what she says in Chinese to a Chinese audience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play for you an interview after the Fox Business News event in which she was interviewed in Chinese for a Chinese audience. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to not narrate or inject any commentary. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the questions that Liu Xin was asked. I'm going to translate them, or I've already translated them, and I'm going to ask them in English. And then I'm going to let her give her answer, and I'm going to add subtitles when I remix the video so you can kind of read what she actually says for those of you who don't understand Chinese. And keep in mind that I'm not doing a literal translation. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to translate more of the sentiments, because language and culture and translation is always complicated, and a lot of times many things get lost in translation. So what I'm going to try to do is just try to do more of a translation of sentiments as closely and as accurately as I can to give all of you an idea of what she really thinks about Americans and what is her real motivation for doing these interviews and being an anchor on Chinese television. And then we're going to listen to her interview in English, where you can hear in her own English words what she says to an English-speaking audience to see if there are actually any differences when she's speaking to her audience in China and she's speaking to a global audience in English. All right, so let's see. Welcome, Liu Xin. How are you?
刘星你好，
严总你好，
我得先说辛苦了，但是
I want to first say that congratulations, and as a fellow anchor, I want to say how much we all appreciate your efforts in completing such an admirable endeavor. So I want to ask you, how did you prepare for this interview? I heard that you didn't even know the questions, what question to expect before the interview.
对，我觉得对我来说最重要的是我必须做我能做的事情和我适合去做的事情，所以我所有的准备工作 都是要到现场去做我自己，当然做我最好的那一面，但是我必须要做我自己。所以无论是数据啊、论据啊，还是事例啊，我都必须要自己非常的熟悉，要读懂，要进入到我的这个内化吧。然后我的服装、我的服饰都必须要符合我的风格，然后我的定位、我的语气、我的风格，它都必须是刘星的。之前有人说，刘星你们要去辩论或者去互怼，我在这个问题上思考了很长时间，我觉得我不是一个善于雄辩的人，我一直都不是，我只是一个感性的，去和别人去讲故事、去交心的这样的一个人，而且一旦我这样做的时候，效果会比去试着去雄辩要好很多，所以我最后决定，我必须要到那里去做我叫刘星这样的一个人，让他看到。中国国家媒体的记者也是一个有血有肉的人，和他们一模一样，这就是我想给美国的观众展示的。
但是要进行这样的一种直播。
So, you must have needed to prepare much more comprehensively for such a difficult situation, especially what we all saw transpired over the 16-minute interview.
没问题啊，准备多，这样我更加自信嘛，我会信心满满。大家可能也看到了新媒体直播上，我带着微笑，然后和大家打招呼等等，一直都很自信的样子。我心里确实是很有底，因为我背后有很多人支持我，有很多朋友，他们甚至于是自发的来给我发出很多的祝福和给我很多的建议。然后我自己也想清楚了我的定位，我知道我要做什么，然后我不需要他告诉我他的问题，实际上他非常的懂礼貌，他把他所有要问的问题都提前告诉了我。在当天，就是在今天早上，我的同事说，哎，刘星，翠西他发来他的问题，你要不要看一看？我说我不要看，为什么？我已经准备好了，到现场他问我什么都可以，而且我认为这样这个对话才会有意思。如果提前都准备好了，还有什么意思呢？
另外还有一个在之前的。
So the other thing that I want to ask is there was a lot of expectations from many circles that this would not be an honest debate. Rather, it would probably be a dogfight and a chance for Trish to really go on the attack. So, how were you affected by all of these kind of expectations before the interview?
我觉得这里有一个很大的误解，因为从一开始他约我来辩论的时候，大家就你们看两位女主播开始约架了，一下就变成这样的一种气氛。那么最后呢，我确实我觉得我要利用这个机会到美国的主流媒体上，到美国重要的媒体上去对美国的观众直接对话，所以我答应了，但是我从来没有说我们要到第三方去做一个非常正式的一个真正的辩论。我说我到你的节目去做一个嘉宾，实际上我一直的定位就是这样的，所以
没提问。
所以很多人都说，哎，为什么最后变成了一个他问我答呀？因为我说我到他的节目去做嘉宾，可不就是他问我答吗？而且我其实可以提问，但是我最后选择我不提问，为什么？因为我想。看我的是谁？看我的是美国普通的民众，而且这些民众，福克斯电视台的观众，他们有很多是对中国有很大的不满，甚至于或者是误解。那么我现在一个中国的主持人跳到他们的电视上了，他们肯定对我很生气，或者对我有很多负面的情绪。如果我在咄咄逼人的，在不断的反问，想去求胜，想把这个翠西打败或者赢得这个辩论等等，那么我想我在他们心中的这个形象一定是非常非常负面的。他们会说，你看这个中国主持人他就是那样，中国人咄咄逼人，他们抢走了我们的工作，这个主持人还登堂入室，大言不惭。我想这样对我们现在中美关系的。中美两国人民之间的沟通完全没有好处，所以我是完全不设防，把我放到他的场地上，然后他可以问我任何问题，而且不管他怎么去纠缠也好，去质疑或者去想让我显得很失态等等，我都不会放掉我心里的这个去坦诚的和他交流的这个态度。
对。
So it seems like a lot of people were expecting Trish to be really combative and she has this really fierce attitude seemingly towards you and towards Chinese people. And it seems like her attitude was much softer and she didn't display as much negativity as most Chinese people expected.
我不知道为什么，我和他交流的过程中，从我们一开始这个隔空所谓的约辩到后来的，我们其实在邮件里也有来往，然后我们之间呢在海外的社交媒体上也有一些 这个对话，我发现他对我的态度慢慢的在发生变化。一开始他说：嘿，中国国家电视台，你能来跟我辩论吗？后来他叫我刘欣女士，再后来他叫我在他的邮件里他叫我欣。就是我觉得他的态度已经慢慢的在变化，所以整个这个过程实际上不只是在这个从辩论开始，而是到辩论已经进行了一段时间。到辩论开始的时候，他对我的看法，或者他对中国人的看法，已经发生了一个很大的变化。他原来那种很自信的觉得你们就是这样，我就要来说你们那种气势，他已经没有了。然后到了现场，一开头或者说我没说几句，他就发现。我不是带着对抗，不是带着狡辩的情绪来的。他原来准备了很多东西，他发现他可能是没有办法去用。但是我觉得我们要对翠西表示尊重，因为她作为一个美国女性，美国的主持人，她有她的局限性，她看问题的方式也受到很多这个局限，她可能自己也不知道这种局限。那么我们中国人其实我们看问题的方式也有很多局限。
好，刘鑫还有一个问题。
Okay, so I have another question. Can we expect to have her on your show in the future? And if she does appear on your show, what do you think she will ask, or what do you think you will ask her?
我当然希望她能够上我的节目。我觉得，我们这样的一来一往的交往是一个很好的故事，不打不相识，是吧？我觉得，如果她愿意来中国，如果她愿意到中国的某些地方去走一走，特别是中国的农村，比如说我非常愿意，因为我也想看看那些地方，而且我特别想看他看到这些地方他的反应是什么，然后他对中国的感觉感官是一种什么变化。将来他回到美国，再回到福克斯电视台的时候，他再说中国的时候，再说中国人的时候，他的语气、他的语调、他的用词绝对是不一样的。我认为我如果能够达到那个目的，那么我这一次是真的赢了。
好。
Okay, so I want to say that we really appreciate what you are trying to do, and we really look forward to following this story and seeing how you continue your journey of trying to bridge the communications and improve the relationships between China and America.
我们更加
Okay, so that was the interview in Chinese. So I've translated, or by the time you watch this video, I will have written in subtitles for Liu Xin's response. And what we want to do now is we want to actually hear her response and her interview in English and try to see if there are any differences between what she says in English and what she said in Chinese. One to an English-speaking audience, and obviously one to her Chinese audience.
Well, Liu, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations, well done. So how was that? It was expected to be a debate, but actually it's a little bit more like an interview, right? How do you feel?
Well, it was said to be a debate, and I said let's engage in a debate. But actually, I never expected it to be debate. I always wanted it just to be a dialogue or a conversation, and I think that was exactly just the right thing. It did look like an interview, and I think it's just natural. So it was just the way I expected it. Yeah.
What about her questions? Do you think it is as sharp as expected, or something that you've been prepared for?
Honestly, I didn't really hear very well what she was talking about because it was via satellite link, and I guess there was a delay, but the delay didn't seem to feature very much. But I couldn't really hear every single word she was saying. I could just hear bits and pieces what she was talking about. So for a while, I was like, could you repeat your question? Because I really didn't understand what she was talking about. But I got the overall idea what she was talking about. The questions were, exactly what we were expecting her to ask. Actually, not as sharp as we were expecting. We thought she would probably, and I thought she was very fair. She was being friendly to me. She was being fair because after I answered my question, I think the comments that she made immediately before she moved on to another question were mostly fair comments.
Yeah, I think it's quite extraordinary because as an American watching Trish ask those questions, I felt that obviously the questions were framed in a way to really kind of make it difficult for her to answer questions. For example, initially when Trish suggested and framed her as the mouthpiece for the quote unquote Chinese Communist Party. And even all the questions that were, only highlighting the seemingly very bad things China is doing to America without any context or any greater context on the scope and the scale and the relative nuances of what's been going on relative to what's going on in other parts of the world. So it's quite extraordinary that I think that Liu Xin's attitude is that Trish was quite fair.
Well, some Chinese netizens, they say, for the sake of being fair, maybe next time, or even this time, the first half should be done in English and the second half should be done in our language with Chinese. But this is a joke.
Yeah,
but
well,
yeah, how do you
I don't know about a second round. We'll see. If she wants to engage me, I'll be more than happy to answer her call. And as I said, I extended an invitation for her to visit China. I think that would do great to both her and to me if we get to know each other better, if we become friends. I think that would be a wonderful thing. She's a very nice woman. If you read the emails that she writes me, very cordial. So I really have absolutely no personal any negative opinion about her. The way how she speaks on air, I think it's natural, but it's the same thing for her and for me, as a journalist. So I use her as a mirror to look at the things that I've done in the past, and I would say I've not been totally fair either. I've not been totally emotionless either. People say, yeah, go and get her, or this is the fight of the century between China and the United States, a spat between two conversations or two organizations or even two countries. None of that. And I wanted it to be exactly the way that I think I did exactly that. This was not a conversation between two countries. Definitely not. No. This was not a conversation between two peoples. No, I can't represent 1.4 billion people. This was not a conversation between Fox or CGTN. This was a conversation between me and Trish as journalists, once, women, mothers. Right. And I think that is the only way we can really engage with each other and build a kind of relationship, and the same for everything else.
This.
So actually, that was quite extraordinary. I want to say this directly to Trish Regan. I encourage you to accept Liu Xin's offer to visit China. I think, it was, I don't really watch Fox News, and I really never heard of, your show, Fox Business, before this debate. So obviously, this is an opportunity for you to reach beyond your traditional audience. And I could actually see in your facial expressions during the interview that a lot of the things that your research team prepared that you were going to use in case Liu Xin kind of started to defend China or go on the attack, you really never got to those. And everyone who really kind of thinks more about what happens in the background could see that you were quite surprised with how Liu Xin responded, and some of your opinions of her and of Chinese people, we could tell that it slowly started to change. And that is the goal of having this type of dialogue. Make it constructive, not make it combative. So if you really want to help our two countries improve relationships in the trade war, improve understanding, reduce misunderstanding, reduce bias, reduce prejudices, then I challenge you to accept her invitation. You will have an amazing trip. You will be treated like a queen, and you will experience something that will hopefully will undoubtedly change your perspective on China and give you much, much greater insights to be able to inform your audience what is really going on between China and the United States.
Debate, or this debate, is actually highly anticipated. It grabs the attention, not only the people here in China, not only the people in the United States, actually the world's attention. Did you expect the video to go such viral online when you post this commentary video?
Well, It happened to me in the past that my commentary went viral. So this is not the first time. This is at least the third time or something like that. I didn't expect her to react to me. That was the difference.
So was it shocking when you first see that on Twitter?
I was really flattered.
Oh,
I was really flattered. I didn't know that she would pay so much attention, so much time to react to me. And then she even extended this invitation or challenge or whatever, for me to have a debate with her. I really appreciate, because that created all of this unprecedented opportunity for me to speak to her on American TV, and for me, for so many American people to hear me, to hear what we say, to watch my video and to try to understand why this Chinese anchor woman is so angry. What is she angry about? Why is she calling someone spitting fire from their eyes? So I think I thank her. I really thank her for having reacted to me and having invited me to be on the show.
This is...
Yeah, that's just an awesome attitude to have. And I don't think, listening to Liu Xin talk in Chinese, that her attitude is much different whether she's talking and thinking in Chinese or she's talking and thinking in English. So I just want to try to illustrate to all of you Americans who are doing business in China to adopt really that type of attitude where you're open-minded and you think things are opportunities to improve dialogue and improve understanding and improve communication. That's really, I think, going to help you in your success. And again, I'm speaking more towards a business audience, but all of these things are microcosms of how you can actually improve, how you succeed or fail when you go to China for business.
It's going to be hard, but I noticed that you didn't just stay at home for the past week preparing for this. Actually, you were doing your regular routine, anchoring your daily life show, parenting your kid, and like...
Not so much.
But why is it? Why? Because you're so confident, or because life still goes on even with something as tough as this? Or...
For me, this is definitely the first time, and I've never had this kind of conversation on American TV. So, and I didn't know what she was going to ask. She told me a couple of key words, but
such as
tariffs, IP, trade talks, and etc.
Which is like everything.
Yeah, and then in the beginning she told me from 8 to 8:30 or from 8 to 8:45, meaning either 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I was like, what?
What were you expecting?
So I was really expecting a very long and fierce debate, and I told her, I'm in your hands. Basically, I said fine to everything. If you want to ask me anything, I was prepared to answer that. But if you really truly want to engage with someone, what do? You go there disarmed. You go there. If you really want to be honest, you go there and you don't become defensive. You open your heart. You open your mind and you talk from the bottom of your heart. And that's why.
So what did she say? She said that if you really want to engage with someone, you go in disarmed. And that's one of the things that we all have to be kind of aware of is, are we aware of any biases or subconscious biases that we may have that will affect our attitude and mindset towards the people on the other side? And when I say people on the other side, obviously I see a lot of American business people go over to China and they are not taking this kind of self-awareness into the negotiations. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of negotiations don't succeed and a lot of partnerships end up becoming dysfunctional in China.
I had to talk from my personal perspective, because then I have greater freedom to express what I really feel, and that's exactly what I did. Anyway, we were preparing, but I didn't want to give people the impression that the world was
all about that.
Yeah,
there are some Western media who are very curious about how does the management team of CCTV, as well as some Chinese senior officials, see this debate when you agree to take the challenge. Did you get any reaction or feedback from them as well?
Of course, when I got the invitation, as any company employee would do, I asked my boss whether what to do. Yeah, should I go? Should I not go? I kind of got myself into this situation because when she extended the invitation, I said, "I hear you. I'll get back to you soon." So basically, that is already expect my response. But if I then follow up and say no, that wouldn't look very good, right? So, but by then, before that, I didn't ask my boss. So I went to my boss and said, what I was going to do. So I don't know how the decision was made, but very soon, I got the feedback, and the feedback was a very resolute yes, go ahead.
So you get a support from them.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate that, because that gave me the confidence, that gave me the protection.
Because today it is not a debate, so it's very hard to say who's the winner or what. But are you satisfied about your performance?
I think I'm reasonably satisfied. I'm happy that what I do will be heard by more people, will be seen by more people, and I have a better opportunity to make some positive changes.
Okay, so I want to, first of all, say I want to really congratulate both sides. I want to congratulate Trish Regan for offering or extending this invitation to have this discussion or have this debate, regardless of what the original intentions are. And I want to really just commend Liu Xin for her performance, but it's just not so much her performance. I think her attitude, mindset, and approach is really something that we should all kind of aspire and actually learn from. So I hope that everybody kind of shares this video, especially you Americans who are trying to understand China. I really kind of implore you not to make kind of these negative comments that really are not productive. And of course, the same thing goes to the Chinese side. As you can see, Liu Xin represents China very well. But all of you people or Chinese people on social media that immediately go on the attack. And basically, I saw comments, obviously from Chinese people saying Trish is trash, without really even listening to this type of dialogue and this type of conversation. That's also not helping anyone. So yeah, so I hope you found this this video useful. This one is going to take a lot of time to do the post-production because I do it all myself. And I want you to try to leave some constructive comments. Share this video in a way that can actually help somebody change their the way they think, to make adjustments to their attitude, mindset, and approach, which, in my opinion, is the only thing that you can control. So if you manage the things that you can control, then you can take control of the outcomes that you're able to achieve. All right? Thank you very much.